Global leaders, press freedom advocates, and humanitarian organizations have strongly condemned an Israeli airstrike on Gaza's Nasser hospital that killed at least 20 people, including 5 journalists working for international media outlets. The strike on Monday in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, claimed the lives of journalists affiliated with Reuters, the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, and other networks. The attack, one of the deadliest against media workers in the conflict, drew swift reactions worldwide. The Committee to Protect Journalists (CPJ) called the killings unlawful attacks on the press and urged the international community to hold Israel accountable. The Palestinian Journalists Syndicate described the strike as a heinous crime and said it demonstrated a deliberate war on free media, aimed at silencing reporters exposing the realities of the war. The Foreign Press Association in Jerusalem demanded an explanation from Israel's defense forces and Prime Minister's office, calling for an immediate halt to what it described as a recurring practice of targeting journalists. World leaders echoed concerns. French President Emmanuel Macron said the deaths were intolerable, stressing that journalists must be allowed to work freely and safely in conflict zones. Qatar's foreign ministry issued a statement demanding decisive international action to protect both journalists and medical workers. At the United Nations, spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric said Secretary General Antonio Guterres strongly condemns the killings, calling for a prompt, impartial investigation. Ravina Shamdasani, spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, said the killings should shock the world not into silence, but into action. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus denounced the repeated attacks on Gaza's healthcare system, warning that access to healthcare was being crippled as civilians face starvation. UNRWA Chief Felipe Lazzarini said the silencing of journalists documenting famine and civilian suffering was shocking and urged immediate humanitarian access. In Washington, President Donald Trump said he was unaware of the incident when asked but added, "I don't want to see it." At the same time, we have to end that whole nightmare. U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said she was appalled by the killings and called for an end to the bombing. In Europe, 8 organizations also weighed in. Jérôme Grimaud, emergency coordinator for Doctors Without Borders (MSF) in Gaza, accused Israel of deliberately targeting healthcare workers and journalists over the past 22 months, calling the strike part of a wider pattern of shunning international law. The deaths of the 5 journalists highlight the extreme dangers facing reporters in Gaza, where media workers and medical staff have increasingly become casualties. International groups insist the killings demand urgent accountability.